more money than the GDP of Germany, Japan, and the UK combined, an algorithm that tracks $25 trillion, a vote inside every major boardroom on Earth. BlackRock didn't conquer the world with armies, it did it with code, index funds, and total risk management. Imagine a single corporate entity that holds a major stake in virtually every company you interact with daily. When you buy a coffee, unlock your smartphone, stream a movie, or fill up your car, a fraction of that dollar quietly flows into the same financial vortex. That vortex is BlackRock. With over $15 trillion in assets under management, BlackRock is the largest asset manager in human history. To put that number in perspective, that is more than the entire gross domestic product of every nation on Earth except the United States and China. Yet, most ordinary citizens have no idea how it works. BlackRock does not make physical products, build cars, or run retail stores. Instead, it owns the equity, manages the debt, and controls the voting power behind the corporations that do. It is the ultimate shadow architect of global capitalism. To understand how BlackRock came to dominate global finance, you have to go back to 1988 and a young Wall Street trader named Larry Fink. Fink was a rising star at the investment bank First Boston, making millions by pioneering mortgage-backed securities. Then disaster struck. A sudden, unexpected shift in interest rates caught Fink's team completely blind. In a matter of weeks, his department lost $100 million. Fink was disgraced and quietly ousted from the firm. That crushing failure became his radical epiphany. Fink realized that Wall Street was dangerously blind to risk. Traders were making massive bets without understanding the hidden variables beneath the market. Fink swore that if he ever built his own company, it would not be built on wild speculation. It would be built on the total, hyper-obsessive management of risk. While BlackRock's $15 trillion in assets under management is staggering, its true power lies inside the servers of Aladdin. Today, Aladdin does not just manage BlackRock's money, it monitors the risk for hundreds of rival financial institutions, sovereign wealth funds, and major corporations. It is estimated that over $25 trillion in global assets, roughly 7 to 8% of the entire financial system, run directly on the Aladdin platform. When thousands of independent financial institutions rely on the exact same computer algorithm to calculate risk, they begin to buy and sell assets in synchronization. Aladdin has effectively become the de facto operating system of global finance. A single code update or risk model adjustment inside BlackRock servers can trigger market movements across the planet. By the late 1990s, BlackRock was a respected risk manager, but Larry Fink wanted absolute scale. In 2009, in the chaotic aftermath of the global financial crisis, BlackRock pulled off its boldest move, acquiring Barclays Global Investors. With that acquisition came a revolutionary financial product called iShares, the world's dominant provider of exchange-traded funds, ETFs. ETFs fundamentally changed how the world invested. Instead of paying expensive hedge fund managers to pick individual stocks, everyday investors could buy an entire index, like the S&P 500, with a single click for virtually zero fees. Retirement accounts, sovereign wealth funds, and retail traders flooded trillions of dollars into iShares ETFs. BlackRock didn't have to convince people to buy specific companies. They simply collected a fee on the passive flow of global wealth. Money flooded into their vaults automatically every second of every day. When the global economy collapsed in 2008, the US government faced a terrifying reality. They didn't know how to price the toxic mortgage debt choking the banking system. The Federal Reserve needed help, and there was only one company on Earth with the technology to analyze the damage. The Federal Reserve hired BlackRock to manage the multi-billion-dollar toxic assets of failing titans like Bear Stearns and AIG. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit in 2020, the US government called Larry Fink again, tasking BlackRock with managing massive corporate bond purchasing programs to keep the American economy afloat. BlackRock became the official cleanup crew for Western capitalism. They became so deeply embedded in the operations of central banks that the line between the United States government and a private asset manager became permanently blurred. Because BlackRock manages trillions of dollars across passive index funds, it holds a massive permanent voting stake in almost every major publicly traded company in the S&P 500. Alongside fellow indexing giants Vanguard and State Street, BlackRock is frequently the largest single shareholder in competing mega corporations. They own massive stakes in Apple and Microsoft, Coca-Cola and Pepsi, ExxonMobil and Chevron. While BlackRock does not technically own these shares directly, they hold them on behalf of their clients. They exercise the voting power. When corporate board members are elected or shareholder resolutions are passed, Larry Fink's team holds the votes that dictate the direction of global corporate policy. While BlackRock's $15 trillion in assets under management is staggering, its true power lies inside the servers of Aladdin. Today, Aladdin does not just manage BlackRock's money, company. It monitors the risk for hundreds of rival financial institutions, central banks, sovereign wealth funds, and major corporations. It is estimated that over $25 trillion in global assets, roughly 7 to 8% of the entire financial system, run directly on the Aladdin platform. When thousands of independent financial institutions rely on the exact same computer algorithm to calculate risk, they begin to buy and sell assets in synchronization. Aladdin has effectively become the de facto operating system of global finance. A single code update or risk model adjustment inside BlackRock servers can trigger market movements across the planet. Unprecedented power brings immense public backlash. BlackRock finds itself caught in a crossfire from both sides of the political spectrum. Environmental activists accuse BlackRock of funding climate destruction by holding billions in fossil fuel stocks. Conversely, conservative politicians accuse BlackRock of using its voting power to force a social agenda onto American corporations through ESG, environmental, social, and governance investing metrics. At the same time, housing advocates criticize institutional investors for buying up single-family neighborhoods, pricing everyday people out of homeownership. Whether it is housing, energy, or corporate policy, BlackRock has become the ultimate lightning rod for public anger over modern financial power. Larry Fink started BlackRock because he lost $100 million due to a lack of data. 40 years later, he built a company that processes the data of the entire world. BlackRock proved that in the 21st century, real power does not belong to the nation with the largest army or the tycoon with the most factories. True power belongs to the entity that controls the flow of capital and the algorithms that calculate risk. BlackRock does not own the world in the traditional sense of a dictator or a monarch. It is something far more subtle and far more powerful: the invisible, digital operating system beneath modern life. The empire does not need a crown when it owns the ledger. The next time you check your 401k, pay rent, or buy a stock on a phone app, look closely at the fine print. BlackRock didn't conquer the world with soldiers or weapons. They did it with code, index funds, and the quiet power of risk management. The world didn't get conquered, it got integrated. Subscribe for more interesting educational videos. Thank you.